Chief Master Sergeant William Mosley was the archetypical senior NCO, leading and teaching troops in the trenches. He spent nearly his entire career at base level, developing and mentoring career airmen and officers, and making his air traffic control systems the best they could be. His technical skills and people skills in dealing with subordinates, peers, and superiors alike resulted in stronger controllers, supervisors, and leaders. His devotion to his people and his unit was exceeded only by his dedication to supporting host wing war fighters. Chief Master Sergeant Mosley began his military career in 1959 and served in the U.S. Army and U.S. Army Reserves for 7 years, where he was trained as an air traffic controller. In 1965, Chief Mosley enlisted in the U.S. Air Force as a staff sergeant in the air traffic control career field. He then spent the entirety of his career in the Air Force Communications Service, or Air Force Communications Command, a feat not accomplished by any of his peers. He subsequently became rated in 16 air traffic control facilities. The Air Force first sent Chief Mosley to assignments in Westover Air Force Base, Massachusetts, Hahn Air Base, Germany, and a combat tour in Vietnam. In 1972, he was assigned to Lindsey Air Station, Wiesbaden, Germany. Initially, he served with the Air Force European Communications Area Inspector General Team. There, he became the first enlisted inspector qualified to inspect security, administration, civil engineering, training, non-appropriated funds, and host-based support functions. The Air Force European Communications Area Inspector General Team traveled throughout Europe, conducting no-notice inspections, showing mercy to none, but accurately measuring performance against mission requirements. The team's reputation often preceded it, and they became informally known as Blood Pigs, a name that survives today among its members. Following his tour as a blood pig, Chief Mosley was assigned to the 2063rd Communications Squadron at Wiesbaden Air Base, Germany, where he was the lead air traffic control member. He led the efforts to close the Wiesbaden Tower and ground control airborne facilities and stand up the Sembach Tower and ground control facilities. His innovative leadership ensured a smooth operational transition of responsibilities. Chief Mosley's next assignment took him to the Taegu Air Route Traffic Control Center in South Korea. During heightened defense conditions, Chief Mosley identified and corrected several flight safety problems and was a key player in the deployment of a squadron of F-111 aircraft from Konus to the Taegu Air Base. He also developed an interagency departure procedure, allowing fighters to transition directly from the terminal area to the tactical control system. Prior to his departure, his host nation awarded him the Korea Service Medal for helping make the mission a total success. Chief Mosley's next assignment was as the Chief Air Traffic Controller at Hurlburt Field, Florida. While there, he was personally responsible for turning 2 long-standing marginal air traffic control facilities into error-free, expertly managed facilities. His strong leadership skills and innovative management style were critical in supporting vital special operations and national military authority missions. After his tour at Hurlburt Field, Chief Mosley was assigned as Chief Controller at Eglin Air Force Base, Florida. Once again, his leadership skills were tested when the Federal Aviation Administration went on strike in 1981. Chief Mosley was able to keep one of the largest radar facilities in the Air Force in full operation while deploying 17 controllers to support 5 Federal Aviation Administration facilities. His unique scheduling and training skills allowed for uninterrupted operations while simultaneously maintaining full training capacity. Chief Mosley also corrected long-standing training, safety, and controller workload problems within 5 months of assuming controller duties. In recognition, Eglin Air Traffic Control Facility was awarded Air Force Facility of the Year in 1982. Next, Chief Mosley was assigned to Vance Air Force Base, and the Vance Air Traffic Control Facility in turn won Facility of the Year in 1983 and 1984. For these remarkable accomplishments, Mosley was named Air Traffic Control Manager of the Year. Unsurprisingly, the Air Force Communications Command Inspector General Team gave Mosley excellent ratings. In 1985, Chief Mosley served as the Chief of Communications Computer Operations at Luke Air Force Base and became the first Chief Master Sergeant to cross-train in the new Communications Computer Operations career field. His achievements there included implementing the core automated maintenance system on schedule and tracking maintenance actions for the base's F-16 aircraft. Chief Mosley also conceived, developed, and implemented a direct cross-utilization board that enabled a newly arrived technical graduate to become qualified in the base communications and data processing centers in just 7.5 months. This program went on to become the Air Force standard. Chief Mosley retired from the Air Force in 1989 and transitioned to a position with the Federal Aviation Administration headquarters in Washington, D.C. In 2000, he bade the FAA farewell and made his home in Henderson, Nevada, where he did what he loved most, traveling and golfing as much as humanly possible. And he continued to enjoy the camaraderie of fellow members in his many military alumni associations, including the Air Force Command, Control, Communications, and Computer Association, and the Air Force Communicators and Air Traffic Control Association. With a deep sense of loss, the cyberspace community mourned the passing of Chief Mosley in 2010. He was survived by 2 sons, Scott Mosley of Kennewick, Washington, and William Mosley of Chipley, Florida, as well as 5 grandchildren, Trevor, Kara, Cohen, Matt, and Megan Mosley. Chief Master Sergeant William M. Mosley was a true airman's airman, whose performance and dedication consistently embodied the ultimate in loyalty and ability. In recognition of his lifetime of achievement in service to the United States Air Force, Chief Master Sergeant William M. Mosley is now being inducted into the Air Force Cyberspace Hall of Fame.